Hey everybody, let's see. Alright, looks like I am live. Welcome to my stream. Oops, I need to change the title. This is not the holiday buggy anymore. This is the TA03R-S Porsche 911 GT1 Street build. All right. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna give it a little bit of let everybody get a chance to trickle in. I'm not expecting too many people. Let's see. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Appreciate you watching my video after the fact. That's really cool of you. I hope you find it entertaining and informative. Let's see. Turn that mute. So, pretty clear what we're doing today. I finished the holiday buggy. The only things left to do is paint, and I can't do that on stream, so I'm going to do that another time and show you guys the final product, either on probably on YouTube only. I don't think I'm gonna put it back on the stream. So today we're going to unbox and build this TA03R-S 1996 Porsche 911 GT1 Street Kit. And it's interesting because this is a belt drive, four-wheel drive kit. And I don't think I've built a belt drive in a very, very long time. I had a Team Associated SC10 4x4 that was built, and that was like 3-4 years ago. So actually, you know what? That's not true. The one of the three racing, I think it was the XI Sport, that was belt driven. Okay, I was wrong, but I also built a few years ago, so it's been a little while. And I've never built a Tamiya belt car, so it's going to be interesting. I hope the audio is pretty decent. Let me check. How is my audio, Popcorn? You guys can help me out here. And don't forget to follow the stream if you're new. I am going to unbox and start building this Porsche here. I will do as much as I can for 2 hours or so until around midnight Pacific, and then I will come back tomorrow and continue. So let's not stall anymore. Let's get started. Let's look at the box real quick. I always like doing this. So these are all of the features of the car: slick tires, front sealed gearbox with Diff, bumper, steering servo not included, double wishbone suspension, bathtub frame, belt drive, ESC not included, receiver not included, coil spring oil fill damper set, that's cool, rear sealed gearbox with Diff, very cool, electric motor, one-piece wheel, and Tamiya battery pack not included. So it looks like it's going to have the motor. I'm curious which motor. It's going to be the torque tune or the sport tune or just a regular tin can. We'll find out. And for once, the ESC is not included. But I'm glad to see the oil fill dampers. So TA03R-S features a short wheelbase and a midship motor mount for exemplary balance. It gives great quickness on technical circuits in particular. High efficient, highly efficient, fuss-free, single-belt, four-wheel drivetrain. Sealed gearboxes, front and rear, are fitted with differential gears for smooth cornering. Four-wheel independent double wishbone suspension utilize oil dampers and features dedicated touring car geometry. Tough lower arms add to the chassis durability. Very cool. So I'm looking forward to building this. The front end looks really sophisticated, and that's cool. And the rear. See anything interesting on the other side? Now it's just going to be what's included and what's not in some of the hopper parts. So let's get this open. My favorite part. Opening and building kits. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Hey Sandwich. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think, I just hope I don't screw up building this. I can't believe how many times I messed up on a holiday buggy, and that's a really simple kit. I will try to concentrate and pay attention. Take my time on the stream. Maybe you guys can download the PDF catalog and follow along and make sure I'm doing the right things. Alright. Let me center this as much as possible. And there we are. Alright, let's take a look. So we got these, that's spoiler. What the heck is this? What the heck is this one? Are there two spoilers to choose from? Interesting. Oh no, one's the this one is attached to the body, and then the wing attaches to that. And that's just probably the front. Some mirrors. There's going to be some painting involved for sure on this one. I'm going to set this bag aside. Check out this body. This is really cool. A lot of great lines. Just look at this. Just look how flared these wheel wells are. It's going to look really cool. It's already got the body holes. And I'm curious if there are light wells or not. We'll find out. But this looks like it's going to be pretty challenging to paint. The box shows all of these individual lines are painted. So we'll see how it goes. Installed a new spur in my TT02 today. Back because like 3 times, you're right, yeah. Spur gears. Let's see, what does this look like? I see the wheel hex nuts. Probably some kind of skid plate. No idea what this is. These are the tire foams. A few cars ago, I don't remember which one. These came in a box and I couldn't figure out what they were. And then later on, a viewer told me they're the tire foams. So these go in between the tire and the wheel, and we'll see how those come together. Speaking of the wheels, these are really good looking. I think they're called Slingshot design wheels. Yeah, it looks like a Challenger, but you know, this is a Porsche, and it comes with slick tires. Pretty cool. Alright, this bag, that is the front bumper. That is a gearbox, front or rear, I don't know. And these are the suspension arms, I think. Wow, look how small they are. That's interesting. These are really small. See some rod ends. That's probably capped to the gearbox. Yeah, I see. Those are probably upper arm lengths or something like that. This kit is actually pretty simple. I mean, just looking at it, it looks pretty simple. I may regret those words, but okay. So this is the tub chassis, obviously. And I'm going to guess this is the rear. It's hard to say because... Actually, it's probably the front because that's probably where the servo goes. Right here, I'm guessing. And then the battery. Interesting. The battery sits in the middle. It's interesting. We'll see how it goes. I guess we'll find out. And then here's the other gearbox, either front or rear, I have no idea. And there's a shock tower, damper stay, and that looks like another, I think this is a skid plate or a bulkhead for one of the gearboxes. And servo horns. Just some miscellaneous stuff. These are probably the hub carriers. And I finally see an upright. Another one right here. Interesting. What we got here? Body posts. Oh, I've never seen a body post just kind of on its own tree. And yep, these are a little bit flexible. It's that flexible plastic, which is a good thing. And here's that belt. Again, I haven't built a belt car in a long time. We'll see how it goes. I hope there's a good tensioning system to take away the slack. We'll see. I know nothing about this car. I haven't watched a single video of other people unboxing it or building it, or even driving it, as a matter of fact. And this sheet right here are the window masks, and these are the decals. There's a lot of decals. All of these little ones got to be cut out individually. There's door handles, windows, window, kind of the back vent, window vent, tail lights, front signal lights. These are the headlights. I didn't see any light buckets, so doesn't look like it's going to work with LED lights. All right, those are the disclaimer. This was the manual, obviously. We'll see that in a bit. And always comes with a antenna tube. Let's take a look in this big bag of hardware. Hey, welcome everybody who's watching. I'm unboxing the Tamiya TA03R-S Porsche 911, what is it called? GT1 Street. So let's see what we have here. Let's start with a parts bag. A parts bag are going to be the diff gears. Obviously, I see the axles here. And I'm interested to see what this rod right here is. There's a cross wrench. And these are the dog bones. So it looks like we're gonna start off hitting the road running here, hitting the ground running with this kit. They're not gonna mess around. They're gonna start building the diff and the drivetrain right away. And it comes with a tube of ceramic grease, which is interesting. Did I lose you guys? Am I still alive? Okay, good. I thought those metal... Yeah, they are. I don't... Yeah, they're aluminum, I think. Yeah. So... Which is pretty cool. Can you see it? I don't think they're oil-filled. I don't see any... oh, well. That's probably for the dampers, though. Yeah, these are not going to be oil filled. But it's interesting it came with ceramic grease, other than the other ones we've seen in the past. So I'm guessing this kit is considered one of the more premium kits. Let's see. I see, and still using the plastic bushings and the brass ones. That's a shame. I do have bearings for this kit. I bought them, and I just need to find them. Let's see. I know I bought them. I bet you I put it somewhere, and I'm going to have a hard time finding it. Hopefully, I'll be able to find it soon. And these are some of the gears. Actually, let's go back to B-Bag. B-Bag are some more axles, some more dog bones. There's a lot of dog bones in here. Yeah. Interesting. There's another 2 right here. Some pins and everything here. It looks like it's stainless steel. Looks like that's pretty cool. Is better than plastic. Yes, that is true. Some more bushings. I see the pinion gear, the motor plate, that cardboard thing. I see some brass ball ends. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Lots of screws. Interesting. Yeah, here's another one of those. I'm thinking it's a gear shaft. And the C bag looks like it's going to be the dampers. We've built these before. I think we built it on the GT1 Neo Fighter. These oil-filled ones. So I'll show you guys how to do it if you're interested. If you've never built them before. All right, so let's see what we have left. And these are parts of the damper. I don't know if you can see. I see 2 damper bodies right here. Yeah, I only see 2. And those are the caps. I don't know why I only see 2. Maybe I missed them somewhere else. Bunch of gears. And unfortunately, these are plastic. All of them are plastic. So, I wonder why it's ceramic. I'm starting to wonder why. Besides the fact that maybe this is a higher end kit, I wonder why they would go to ceramic. Let's see. What the heck is going on with my computer? Windows just popping up all of a sudden. Uh-oh. Did I freeze? Guys, did I freeze? Okay, okay, good. I don't know, the Stream Studio stopped. I'll just switch over to the browser. It's okay. As long as I'm still streaming. It is a nice kit. All good. Okay. Thank you. The parts bag, pins, some rubber O-rings, and these are really small pins. A couple screws. And these are more gears. Curious what they are. I've never seen gears like this before. I guess we'll find out together. And here are the other uprights. These are probably the front uprights. Hub carriers, whatever you want to call them. And for some odd reason, this kit comes with a tin can motor. It's the RS540SH. It's not the Torque Tune or the what's the other one called? Speed Tune? No, Sport Tune. Sport Tuned. Neither one of those, which is kind of strange. All right, let's bring this over here. I'm gonna put this to the side. Okay, let's see. Right. So let's take a look. The usual stuff. Going to start off by charging battery as always, and then building the diffs. And we're going to need the bearings right away. So I need to find them. Okay, sorry about that, guys. It's the Twitch Studio beta that crashed. Something about encoding. So this would be my second night trying this. Streaming with this software. I guess tomorrow I'll try Streamlab. See if that's a little bit better. So let me just get through this real quick. There's gear chart. We know that this kit comes with a 14-tooth pinion. And then we're going to start building the dampers. Yeah, we're back. Sorry about that. It's Twitch Studio crashed. Yesterday, my computer crashed. So I think they're having problems with this software. It is beta, so I can't really put too much blame on them. And then we're going to start building the steering. I'm looking for any anomalies, anything I've never seen before, but so far so good. And their belt. And, oh, it's tensioned by a spring, I think. That arm looks like it's under spring tension, yeah. Well, no, there's an adjuster here. There's a screw there, I don't know if you can see it. Servo. We're actually mounting the servo pretty late in the build. Usually build those, servos go first, or very early, with all this metal in this car. For brushless, I don't know if I can do brushless in any Tamiya kit. I still haven't tried it. No, actually, it's not true. I did it on GT1, and that worked out okay. Just the car, I'll just say it was me. I just couldn't get it to run very well. And then we're going to build a body, and we're going to have to widen those holes a little bit. I'm looking for those lines. How did they paint those lines? I mean, I do know how. I have the paint, I think. Is this right here. Give me a second. It's like way in the back. I got this. So those panel lines are probably going to be painted with this very, very fine brush. I don't need, you can see that, very fine brush. So I already have the paint. Hopefully I can do it decent enough so it doesn't look bad. All right. So I think we can get started building. Just quick peek. Anything in the back that I need to be aware of? No, pretty much it. No option parts. I'm sure there's option parts, but not talking about it. I'm not going to put a 10.5 turn motor in here. If that's what you're asking. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I would put that in a maybe a TA03R-S or something, or 8. I'm not going to put that in here. Sure way to break it. You know what actually would put put it on? The TCO1. Is that what it's called? Let me see. I think it's the TCO1. Yep, the TCO1 is the Formula E kit. Actually, that kit is pretty beefy. I put a 17.5 in there, and it drove pretty good. I mean, the car has problems on its own. In terms of out of the box, it needs a lot of tuning out of the box, and I have a video on that. What needs to be done from a gentleman who really tuned his car well. This is a fast car. It needs it. This is a tiny car. I didn't see what wheelbase this is. Let me see. I'm curious what wheelbase this is. Let's see if it's on the box. No, let me just check my phone. Let's see. TA03R-S wheelbase. 237. So this is comparable to a M chassis. Yeah, which I have one over there. When I'm done with it, oh, actually, let me just look. The M05. What wheelbase is the M05 Europa? Europa wheelbase. And that car is 225. So it's going to be a little bit longer than the Europa, which is still quite small. So it's going to be 2 centimeters, whole 2 centimeters smaller than the TT02. Beans with a brushed motor. Yeah, you know, I'm just going to. The body's so nice, I don't even know if I want to drive it on the track. I don't know how it's going to drive, so I might like tear into a corner and the next thing you know, take out half the front end. I've done that before. I've taken out the front end on the HPI RS4. I had that classic Mustang Boss body on it. Just pushed it a little too hard on a hairpin turn and put a nice dent in the front corner. And I still sold it. Somebody still wanted it, but kind of hurt me there. I hung it up after that. I didn't want to drive it anymore. This kind of made me sad. All right, less talking. Let's start building. Okay, I want to make sure everything's in frame. I don't think I can zoom. I would love to zoom. Let's see. So let's start right here. I'm going to bring this mat back. Help me with organizing screws and stuff if needed. Adds a little bit of color to the stream so it doesn't look like we're trying too hard with a black screen. So we're going to start with the Diff, and this is going to be both of them. We're going to need to build 2 of these. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be the Diff case. Shelf cleaner. Yeah, exactly. It's only the young kids that put everything on the ground. I think the older you get, the less you want to put. I mean, when the car is just finished, it is gorgeous, and I don't want to ruin it. If I built a race car, fine, okay. When I built that Yokomo, it was meant for the track, so okay, it's fine. But some of these Tamiya kits, you know, the body, I spend so much time painting and doing all that. I'm not going to just run it into a corner. All right, so we're going to start with the A parts bag right here. I'm going to take out those gears. Okay. I guess I lost some viewers, or yeah, I lost some viewers along the way. I think when the end of the stream, dumped a bunch of people and they didn't come back. That's a shame. Really need to work on that. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to try Streamlab. See if that's any better. They have like 4 to choose from. I thought it's Twitch. They have their own software. Why not? It's probably the best. But I was wrong. Okay, so when I built the last kit, the TTO, no. The last kit didn't have a diff, I don't think. Actually, it did. I said that on some kits there's going to be a washer underneath this gear, this sun gear, and here it is. Here we are. So let me find those. I see them. It's right here. If you are new to building Tamiya RC car kits, let me move this into frame. Excuse me. Again, I have to turn on the fan to keep the room cool underneath all these lights. And when I do that, my allergy kicks up. And I just always have a dry throat and cough. So maybe one day in the winter, I won't need to turn on the fan anymore. But for right now, I will need it. Okay, let me just kind of separate these really obvious ones out of the way. Okay, so we're going to start with this. Let's see, I have some ceramic grease. I do. Let's see if I can find it. It's not here. There it is. Okay, so since this kit comes with ceramic grease, I also want to use ceramic grease, and I have this Finish Line ceramic grease right here. Normally used on bicycles. And let's see, do I have another one that size? Kind of like this size. Do I have another one? No, only came with one, so let's see. What's second biggest? What is second? I guess this one. Okay, well, I'm gonna try this one. If that doesn't work, I'll go to the big one. I'll go to this one. Okay. All right, so these plastic syringes are great. So it's going to be difficult to use that as an applicator. So all I do is squeeze a bit into the tube, not all the way up, and then just push it down with this, and it's got to go at least that far down. So let's see. Okay, and then we're going to have some come out of the tip. Be easier to apply. All right, so I'll dig out a cap later for this. Okay, let's go. We need to put some grease on the washer here, and or shim, actually, it's a shim. So I'm going to lay that down there first, and the backside of this will correct any misalignment. So I'm going to use this syringe. Wow, this grease is a little bit more viscous than the silicone grease. I got to keep that in mind. All right, now I'm going to drop this gear in there, flat. And when you wiggle it around, it comes out on the end. Everything is fine. The shim is in place. Wipe off a little bit of extra. Okay, and then next we're going to build these gears. And first we're going to put a little bit of grease on each one of these shafts. I say a little bit, but I always put a lot. Okay, and then I'm going to hold it by these two and put some grease on the third one. My left hand is not as dexterous than my right. All right, so there we go. And now, if you can see, the ends of this is kind of sticking out, and they're going to line up perfectly with those 3 slots for this one, because we already have the gear in this one. So I'm going to drop it in here. And it does say we need to put grease on the face. Actually, we need to put some grease behind the gear. Let me change hands. That's at least the first time I've noticed. No? Yes or no? It's kind of hard to tell. It is shaded gray, so it's kind of hard to know. You know what? It kind of makes sense that it needs it. So I'm going to put it in the in here instead. Sooner or later, the whole gear is going to be greased, but you know, I'll just put some in here. Okay. So we're just going to line it up, slip that through. So it should look like that. All right. We're building, if you're joining us just now, we're building the Tamiya TA03R-S Porsche 911 GT1 Street Kit. And I just started. I'm on step 2, and step 1 was charging the battery, so you haven't missed much. Welcome to my stream. If you haven't already, I would appreciate a follow and keep up with what I'm going to build. So I'm going to finish this probably in a week or 2. It's a complicated kit, so it might take me 7 or 8 streams to finish this. I can only stream about 2 hours a day, so it's going to take me a little while. So after this, we're going to put the other gear on the other side on. Just going to drop that in there and make sure it seats flush. And we're going to put a little bit of grease behind the gear. Who am I kidding when I say a little bit? All right, so just going to flip that on there and then put some more grease. Okay, and that's it. Now we need to find the cap, which is G1. I'm going to guess it's that right there. If you're new to the stream, tell me where you're from, where you're watching from. I'm always curious. I know that at this time of day, there might be viewers from Southeast Asia, like Indonesia. I understand Tamiya is pretty popular there as well. Okay, if everything's right, it should be really easy to seal it, and it should be perfectly flush. Looks great. So let's talk about, well, I want to build this. Let's talk about RC here in the United States. And Sandwich can help me out here and give me his thoughts. So I want to say that here in the United States, we more or less have, I want to say like three big RC companies. And you've probably heard of them. So one, obviously, there's Traxxas. Everybody's heard of Traxxas. They are a worldwide brand. I've seen people talk about Traxxas in European, actually in Europe, a lot of in Europe. Traxxas cars. So we have Traxxas here in America. Lots of people have Traxxas cars, Traxxas, Traxxas or Traxxas cars. They're wonderful. One of my first kits was a two-wheel drive Slash, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I would never sell that thing. Gave me a lot of good times. I don't drive it that much nowadays, but it is a great car. And it kind of started me off on my love of short course trucks. All right, so if you notice, I didn't tighten each screw individually. I tighten all three of them kind of all at the same time, and then at the very end, I give everyone a quarter turn. And that's to make sure the lid here is flush. If you screw one in all the way down first, the cover right here may bend a little bit towards that screw, and then it won't be flush anymore. And you want your spinning parts, especially the diff, to be completely symmetrical. Otherwise, you get some wobble in here. It might explode from the inside. Funny, I just noticed this. That's a funny shot. Oh, actually, didn't affect the camera. There's a hole in the middle. I should have kept it on. That's a shame. Okay. All right, we're going to build two, so let's build another one really quick. So, Traxxas. And then the other one, I'm going to kind of keep the, what I think is the largest last. So, I think Team Associated would be kind of, I mean, I don't think they're as big as Traxxas for sure. Traxxas is all over the place. Team Associated makes, they're probably most famous for off-road buggies. 10 scale and 8 scale. Like the B63, B74. I always forget what the 8 scale one is called. But they have a whole line. Our off-road competitive racing cars, off-road racing cars. Team drivers are really cool guys if you get a chance to meet them. So they're also a big name here in the United States. I'm just going to put some grease right here on this gear. And so now, what's left? Well, it's a giant conglomerate of brands. Horizon Hobby. So even a few years ago, I think like even 5 years ago, you had a lot more brands, RC brands, than you do today. Axial, ACX, Vatera, and these are all brands that Horizon Hobby has acquired already. So it's all under one umbrella now. Low CTLR, you know, all of that is just under the Horizon Hobby umbrella. Fortunately, when they acquired, I think they did acquire TLR not too long ago. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If you're gonna group into one, that's the big, yeah, I mean, they are for sure by far bigger than anybody else. Was I saying? Yeah, so it's kind of known. Actually, I this is from speaking to several RC car enthusiasts and people who work in hobby shops. They told me that once Horizon Hobby takes over a brand, their quality seems to get lower. Now the service is still wonderful. You're not going to go wrong buying a Horizon hobby kit. But there's still good kits and bad kits. Don't get me wrong. But you're not going to buy something that is going to break too easily or no way to fix. You're going to get support for anything you buy for Horizon. I've experienced that firsthand. They really take care of their customers. Same with Traxxas. I guess Team Associated as well. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to say. Team Associated is right down the street. Not right down the street, but it's very close to me. So if I really, really needed to, I can drive down there and RMA something in person. Right. Okay. So those are the big three. So where does Tamiya come in? Well, in my honest opinion, a lowering quality once being acquired is normal and expected. Big companies got to make that money. It's a shame, though. Yeah, what I was going to say is, fortunately, when they acquired TLR, they left them alone. Development, race team, manufacturing. I've heard stories about all the factories moved from one country to another and quality dropped, but they more or less left TLR alone, and that's great. I am team associated. TLR are wonderful. I'm sure they're great cars. I just happen to be the associated electrical. Probably to the day I die. And then here I'm building a Tamiya kits, of course. Part of the reason is I can't afford to build team associated kits one a week or once a month. They are quite pricey with all the electronics and stuff. So to build one team associated kit, like a B6, how much would that probably be? I think the cheapest would probably be like $600. I'm kind of just rounding up. Rough estimate. About $600 for a decent setup on a B6. Tires, wheels, ESC, motor, battery, servo. You don't want the cheap stuff for that car. So I think 600 would be even on the lower side. And for $600, I can probably buy 4. Yeah, I think I can buy 4 of quite a few Tamiya kits for $600. For sure, like 2 bigger kits, like the Monster Beetle or something like that. The Sand Scorcher. Or like a couple, like 3 kind of mid-end, like the sporty TTO2s. The racing TTO2s, like the R. A few of those. And I can get like 4 grasshoppers, maybe even 5. Oh, but if I need to buy the electronics, then okay, so 4, probably 4. So maybe in 5 years, I will have enough streaming and YouTube revenue, or I get a sponsorship that I can build, X-rays and TLR, team associated kits all day. That would be a great thing. I love building. I don't mind building those harder kits. I would love to build a nitro car one day. All right, let's keep moving. Step 3, we're done with step 2. I built 2 of the diffs. Let's go to step 3, the front gearbox. And we need to find B4 and B5. I'm pretty sure I saw those. Isn't that, is it this one? Let's see. No, I don't think it's this one. This is the rear. Yeah, this, I'm looking for this, so that's going to be this bag. Hey, don't forget to click the follow button if you are new to the stream. Tell your friends, tell your friends who are also RC enthusiasts. Come join me. I am trying to build an audience, some momentum for the rest of the year so I can keep streaming. I am only streaming right now. I have not made a video in several weeks. And that's okay. I enjoy streaming. This is actually a lot less stressful for me. When I make the videos, it's pretty much scripted, and I need to stop here and there to, you know, to make sure the storyboard makes sense, the steps I'm doing. I can't just build it without explaining things. There's plenty of people that do that already, and they just put it on time lapse. I like to explain every step. So, and then later on, after I started building a few more kits, I started doing voiceover rather than narrating as I build. That actually turned out to be a giant mistake because it became so much work, and the post-production was 3 times probably the amount of time that I was spent building. So it kind of took all the fun out of it, and I honestly took a pause for several weeks before I kind of came back and started streaming. Kind of had to detox from doing all that. Okay, so I'm going to drop this in there. Oh, it's this side, sorry. So I'm going to drop this bearing in here. Probably need to drop the gear first. Okay, so the gear, the screw side is going to go this way. Drop that in there. It's very interesting how this works. And then I'm just going to drop it on the left and right side of this. So just make sure it goes all the way down. I'm sure when I put the shaft through, this gear will line up with the bearing. But that's it for now. Really simple. And we are going to close this right away, so I am going to put some grease in it. Oh, it doesn't want to spin. Let's see. I would love to know what you guys are building if you are building something. Curious if you're new to RC or you have built a great many kits, or you're just curious about what I'm doing. And some of you just like to watch things being built. I watch a lot of electronic component videos. I have no idea what they're doing, but I still enjoy watching it. I think it's a natural curiosity I have for how things work. So I think this side is going to line up with that, and these 2 arms are going to line up and keep the bearings in place. So we need to make sure those are straight on both sides. And there you go. Should look like that. Again, I think the gear, after we put the shaft in, it will line up with the bearing. So let's seal this up. We need 4 MA2 screws. I'm going to guess it's this one. Yep. Okay, I need 4 of these. In the last kit, the most common screw was called MA8. This time it looks like it's going to be called MA1. Let's see. Sometimes the screws are very, very similar. And they're off by like 1 or 2 millimeters. Okay, the holes are going to be here, 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 and here. So, same thing. I'm not going to just drive one screw all the way in. Going to alternate. Once again, it crashed again. This time the computer crashed. So hopefully it doesn't happen a third time. I'm just going to leave all of the other programs off, and let me see if I can turn off some other stuff. Maybe there's some bloatware. It is a Dell after all. Okay, all right. Let's move forward. I'm going to tighten these 4 screws and lock up this gearbox. Did I lose everybody, or did I pick up more viewers? I can't tell. I might have lost a few of you. As we go. And when the stream dies, actually makes my work after the stream a lot more difficult. Instead of being able to transfer the stream in its entirety directly to YouTube, cloud to cloud, I have to manually download. Today is 3 videos already. I have to download them, splice them together, and then manually upload them. Last night it took so long to render the hour-and-a-half stream video, that I left it going overnight. And I didn't publish it, upload it, and publish it until this morning. So I guess I'm going to stay up a little bit. Okay, and now that's done. Step 3 is done. Now we're going to use that rod that I'm curious about. Step 4. Let's see. pull this down. A lot of moving parts here. Let's see. So we need 2 step screws, 1 MA6 metal, MA10 metal bearing. I'm guessing I have one in here. That's that. This shaft, MA14. Ball studs, MA11. Bearing. So let's start there first. Let's get the bearings out first. I think this is going to be this one. Sure looks like it. And I think the little one is going to be this one. There's only one that little, so pretty easy to tell. There's another one right there. All right, let's see. Now we got to find those shafts. That thing is right here. Right there. We need to find this gear G2. It's going to be this right here. There's a 2 there. You can see it or not. I don't think you can see it. Let me just make sure I am live. So sketchy. Oh, yes, I am. All right. Okay, so that's that. And do I have everything? What is this? Plastic spacer. What does that look like? Plastic spacer. Huh. What does that look like to you? It's not one of these. These are not plastic. I don't see a flat ring here, and it's not plastic either. Everything in here seems like it is not plastic, so it should be in this bag. Ah, there it is. Alright, so that's what it looks like. It's just a ring. There is a collar though. One side is a little bit smaller. That's terrible lighting, but it is. Okay, and that side is going to be out, so there's a hex side. So the hex side is going to meet the shaft. And let's put some grease on the shaft right here. This is not it. All right. I hope I don't lose you guys again. I am starting to lose spirit. Praying that it doesn't happen. I really need to find a solution. This computer is fairly new. It's not the fastest computer in the world, but it's faster than the other one I have. And I am not in a position to buy a gaming PC right now. So I need to make this work. Okay, that bearing needs to go all the way down. Focus. All right. If all else fails, I'll just go back to the iPhone and stream with that. So the collar, skinnier side, is going to face away from the gear, like that. And it's going to probably seat in all the way. We'll find out. And then the bearing will be on the outside. I am not going to press this in all the way just yet. I'll wait until, see, even right here, I can't tell if it's, it looks like it is going to be in there. Okay, there we go. Okay. So once you push it all the way in, it should look like this. Yep. All right. And then now we need to find this right here. B3 and D4. Let's see. Note direction. Okay. Let's find B first. What's this right here? It's probably this one right here. And this is probably the front damper. Okay. There we go. And flip over this side. So these two holes are those two right there. And we need D4. And D4 not going to be, I don't think, actually it is here. It's going to be these two right there. There you go. That. Cool. I'm going to hold off on these for a little bit. I'm going to get the ball studs in here. And just make sure, I think there's only one kind, but I just want to make sure. And these kind don't have a hole for the hex driver, so we're going to need the hex wrench. And if you're curious, say I don't have that wrench, you do. It's this right here. Came with your kit. And once you have it lined up and kind of held in place, you can just use this to turn it all the way through. Oh, we were talking about RC car scene in America and how Tamiya fits in. So, this is my theory. Tamiya here in America is popular without being anywhere competitive in terms of capabilities of their cars. So you're not going to take a, I don't know, the Neo Fighter and try to race it on the track. That's not their purpose. They make kind of, it's hobby grade for sure, but they're more for recreational use. I don't even think they're that great of bashers. Definitely not stunt trucks. I mean, if you try to jump a Tamiya car the same way you would jump an Arma or a Traxxas, you're going to have a lot of broken parts. So, my theory is Tamiya is very popular here in the United States because they've been around for so long and their clientele are the Generation X. I believe that is age 40 to 60, something like that. That generation now, today, has a lot of disposable income, and they want to be nostalgic. A lot of them, like myself, had a Tamiya kit when they were young. So when Tamiya re-releases it, you gotta have it. And that's kind of what brought me back to RC. I saw, I think it was the Wild Willie. And I had a Wild Willie when I was young. So I bought it and I kind of got sucked back into RC. So if you are here in the United States and you happen to say, you woke up one day and say, I want an RC car, you have to ask yourself a lot of questions before you can go to the hobby store. And the question I ask everybody who asks for recommendations is, what's your budget? That's the biggest determinator of what you're going to get. If you have, I don't know, you are a retiree who has a nice nest egg and you tell me don't really care, then, you know, your options are many. It's going to depend what you want to do. Do you want to race it? Do you want to take your grandchildren out to a park and drive them around? Do you want to build a Formula One car and race it? Do you want to go to the skate park and jump the trucks over the fence? These are all things that I've seen people do. Or you want something a little bit more relaxing and you want a crawler. Good looking crawler, maybe a crawler with a body from a truck you had in the past. Either it's a Bronco or a Jimmy or a Huncho, whatever you had when you were younger, and you would just buy that body for your crawler. All valid reasons. By the way, I saw this, so I knew I did it correctly. So if you look at this way, the arms will bend down towards the ball studs. It kind of slopes down. If you have it the other way, then you need to flip them back over. So that's this diagram right there. And let me just give this another turn. Okay. Done with step 4. We're making pretty decent progress. I'm probably going to try to build it all the way to here, to 8. Let's see if we can make it. All right, so now we're going to bring the gearbox back in, and I think it's lined up this way. I'm going to find that probably is a skid plate. Yep, and the 2 lower arms. And then we're going to put the shaft in. Let's put the arms and the skid plate in first. That's D1. D1 and D7, left and right. And this piece is B2. So it's all going to be right here. So this is D1, this one right here. I'm going to set that on this side, and I'm going to guess this is 7. Yep. Very hard to read, but that is 7. First thing I'm going to do is put the ball stud in here. Same thing. Let's see, I have correct. Yep. It's going to go right here. Okay. And tighten this. Let me see if I can add some text here on the fly. Let's see, text. Add, Put this over here. Tamiya TA03R-S kit. So, put that up there. Can I change the font color? Yes, I can. Okay, we'll just leave that for now. Make that red. So if somebody happens to be going by, they can see what I'm doing. I should really grab a screenshot of, a picture of the card itself. I'll do that for tomorrow night and put that on the stream so you guys can see it. Well, for the people who are just browsing. I think the only way I'm going to get viewers is to be consistently streaming and count on people finding me from the browse page. I am on the Makers and Crafting channel, and there's definitely not as many people watching this category as everything else. Compared to gaming and just chatting, there's probably 100-fold, if not more. Okay, I think it looks like the skip plate's independent, so I think we can just slap these on right now. It's going to require this pin right here, MA6, and I'll double check when I pull it out. Make sure there is another giant pins. Alright, there's one. Take out the other one as well. Okay, so we're going to go from this side. I had a funny moment in the last kit that I built. I kept putting the pins through the wrong side. I kept thinking the front was the rear and the rear was the front. And the reason why it matters to go in through this side, I'm going to, well, this is the front, so I'm going to assume this is going to face towards the rear of the car. This is actually facing the front of the car. I say that because usually these pins are accessible in the open. If there's a car right here, you won't be able to access these pins. Just need to make sure they line up so the screw end can go in. It's a little bit of trial and error. And sometimes it's just brute force. There we go. Finally caught, and key is not to tighten it too much. Still have full range of motion. I am surprised it didn't ask me to add any grease here. I've noticed that I think I've worn the tip quite a bit. Huh. I've had it for about a year already. Okay, and now this pin coming from this direction. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube in the archives of my stream, thank you for watching. Whether you are looking for help on a certain part of this kit, you're curious about how difficult this kit is to build, or you're considering this as your first RC car kit, no matter the reason, even if you just want some a video playing in the background, I do that all the time. I just have something seems relaxing on in the background. So if that's you, terrific. I'm glad I can offer that to you. Okay, so B2 is going to be this piece right here. All right. And let's see, so this end is going to face forward like this. Let me just make sure. Oh, actually, this way. This way. Should be this way. These are not lining up. Let's see. Huh. Oh, these two. It's this one and this one. I thought it was this one and this one. Okay, there we go. And we need for the MA1s, it's going to be that same screw. The ubiquitous screw. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube right now, please make sure you click that like button. And if you enjoy watching RC car builds, consider subscribing. And make sure you hop over to my Twitch channel. And maybe you can catch my builds live even. So I appreciate all the help and support. I appreciate the viewership. And I appreciate participation also. So feel free to leave a comment. If you want to tell me where you're from or what kit you're building, it doesn't have to be Tamiya. It can be anything. I've built many different cars before. From a 3 racing drift car to a Traxxas Stampede to an Axial SCX 10-2. So I built quite a variety of cars. Of course, I built, I think, six TT02s, different variants. The B, the T, the RR, and the SR, and then a couple just standard TT02s. Oh, and the Drift. TT02D Drift. So, quite familiar with that chassis. If you have questions about that, or you want to get help on that, I have quite a few TT02 videos. May be able to help you repair something or finish the kit, or help you get over a difficult spot in the kit and you're stuck. Honored to help. So now we're going to insert this into there, and going to cover it with B6. But first we need to grease this up. Using a lot of grease in this car. Well, there's a lot of gears, so it makes sense. This, if I put this on the that table here and I squeeze a little bit of the silicone grease next to it, I don't think I'll be able to tell it apart. It's a little bit more viscous than the silicone, but other than that, the color and kind of like how sticky it is, how it behaves, like I'm talking about like this. Feels just like the silicone grease. Now we need to close it up with B6. Hopefully it's like right here. There it is. I like it when we finish trees. And while I'm here, I think this is going to be one of the next steps. So now I'm done with this tree. I can put it away. One last thing on the desk. Here we go. Now we're going to put this cover on. Looks like there's no top or bottom or left or right. Oh, this way. Sorry. It's going to line up the screw holes. The bearing's already there. And make sure it seats all the way. Let's see. Something is not going in all the way. Let's see which one it is. Oh, there we go. Okay, now let's line up those screws. Same screw again. Sometimes when I'm building a kit like this, this is a it's a bigger kit. It's kind of on the bigger side. There's a lot of parts. I would actually start each bag, each parts bag, by separating everything and putting it all in these little indentations. Just kind of separate them so I can see them better. But that would make the stream quite boring and a lot longer. So I just fly by the seat of my pants when I stream. Just lay everything down on the table and hope I find the one I need. Okay. So far, Tamiya kits, the fitment is always excellent. I have never had any component that just didn't feel right or it misaligned. They really mastered molding, plastic molding for model cars, RC cars. Okay, so we're done with step 5, and just let me make sure I didn't miss anything. 2 wings, skip plate, and the gear shaft and the cover. Okay, let's move on to step 6. All right, we're going to put these 2 things together. Let's see how they line up. So the ball set's here, so it's going to face me. And the shaft is up like this. So let's see. The screws are going to come from these 2 holes and those 2 holes. And they're going to line up with these. I'm going to guess it's these 4. Or it could be these 2 as well. Let's see. We'll find out. I was wrong. It's these 2, and I think it's going to be that. Which makes sense. Okay. There we go. And they're all the M1 screw again. Like I said, they're all over the place. But I still have to make sure they're all the same. And Tamiya kits are such high quality that you rarely see a part that's missing, or a screw that isn't there, or the manual is printed wrong. These are all things I've experienced before, so I'm not just praising them for something that I've never experienced. I've had missing parts. I've had a wrong manual. First thing I can think of is the axial capra. I forgot which part it was, but it was impossible as printed. And it just looks like they rushed to market and they didn't check the manual. I mean, for God's sakes. How many people were so frustrated for not being able to finish their kit? Anyway, like I was saying, Tamiya kits are very high quality. They're excellent value also, especially if you're just starting out in RC, or you already have a couple RTRs and you're looking to build a kit. Of course, there are other options, but I don't think you can go wrong with Tamiya kit. They are inexpensive. They're easy to build. It's hard to break a Tamiya kit when you're building it. I've made many mistakes and I've never managed to break a part where I couldn't finish the kit. I've always been able to. All right, we're going to put the out drives in, which is these two, MA19 and 20. One side's going to have the longer stem, like that, and the other side will not. No, it's not this one. It's going to be this one. This one has the spline. It's not threaded. Okay, so this one, let's put some grease. Let me check something real quick. Okay, let's see. Get some grease right here. And push this through. Okay, and this is where we're going to use this shaft to straighten out the diff in the middle. If you remember it, the hole was not lining up with the bearing just yet, so we're going to use this shaft that went in there to kind of align them. And you need to make sure that both ends goes all the way in and flush with the gearbox. Oh, there's a little bit of gap there. Okay, if you're doing this, I would put the gears on before you put this on. But hey, no big deal. I think I can still manage. And these are the gears that I was wondering what they were, or are they here? Now I think if this is that, I think these are those. Yeah, that looks like it. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to need, this is F1, F2, and MA5 with the grub screw. So F1 and F2, so these two. Alrighty. And now the shaft, this is going to go in first. It's kind of a spacer, I think. I have no idea where, oh, this is for the, this is where the belt is going to go. I think the belt's going to loop in through that hole. Cool. This is probably the drive gear that moves the belt. And so this will go in, but before we put that in, we need a piece of hardware to lock it in place. And I think oh, here it is. I knew I saw something like it. So it's going to be this right here. It's going to be this. You can see that triangular shape, and that matches that. And to kind of fasten it, you need to find a grub screw or a set screw and use this tiny wrench. Alright, so let's find that grub screw. I know I saw one. Where the heck is it? It's probably right here. Yep, there it is. It's right there. I gave you two in case you lose one. I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use my 1.5mm hex driver. And just put that through there. Have it ready. This is going to fit in together, and this is I'm going to leave that hole up so I can reach it, and just lock it in place like that. Let me double check to see if this shaft has a flat end. Let's see, it does. So you can see that it's pretty obvious. There's a flat spot here. So you want to make sure that flat spot lines up with the hole for the set screw, because the set screw is going to go through the perimeter of the gear and kind of penetrate through to the middle, and that makes contact with the flat part of the shaft, and it'll tighten it. Okay, I don't know if I spun the gear or the shaft. Okay, here we go. And now, this is definitely the belt drive. You can see the belt is going to sit in there. So this is a very important screw right here. I'm just going to give it just a little bit extra. And that would be a good spot to use a little bit of a Loctite. But I don't have any here right now, and I always make a mess with Loctite. So try to avoid it as much as possible. I think it's because I cut the tip a little bit too big, so that it always just kind of spews out. You never get a clean finish with using the little tube of Loctite. Okay, we're making really good progress. So now we're going to start building the front uprights. Don't get intimidated. This is very straightforward. You just have to break it down one piece at a time. So let's start finding on the pieces first. This is going to be, I think it's the two that we saw at the end, and I said those are the front. Let's see. They are just floating around somewhere. Let me see. It's not here. Okay. Yep, there it is. Yeah, these are just floating around. It's almost like an afterthought they put these in here. Okay, so there's that. And that. Oh, and let's talk about Kyosho. Kyosho is another interesting brand. They're also Japanese, and just like Tamiya. And I don't think they're nearly as big as Tamiya, but you can tell me if I'm wrong. I have several Tamiya kits. They make great kits. A lot of the cars are fun and different. For example, like the Outlaw Rampage. I have the kit. I haven't built it yet. I have all the electronics. Looking forward to it. But that I haven't built yet. It looks pretty cool though. We're going to need 2 O-rings. So let's grab these 2. How many of these bearings do we need? Oh, 2. Let me grab the other. And Kyosho, I guess they're competitors. You know, they have their line of the re-release buggies from the 80s. they have touring cars, but touring cars are RTR mostly. But they do have nitro. The FW06, which is a touring car, and the MP9, MP10s. It's an MP10 now. Yeah, they make great cars. I really enjoy building Kyosho kits. I hope I can build an MP10 one day and figure out how a nitro engine comes together. Okay, first, like I said, let's break it all down step by step. Let's find all the parts first. So I have the O-rings, I have the washer, the bearings, and I think these are going to be this MA3 right here. I'm going to set this aside. And this. I'm going to need both of these. Yep, I need both of them. Okay. Need O-ring, and then we also need to find this part right here. C12. Let's see. It's let's see if I can find it. That's not it. C-tree. Where the heck are you? Not that. Is it going to be in this bag right here? I think it's going to be that. Wow, I'm getting tired today. It's only 11:30. So there's one right there, and I think that's the other one. So let's see. 12. This is 9. This is 12. So I'm going to take out 12 first. I'm going to build this side first. So I'm not going to cut out 9 just yet. There we go. Welcome to my stream. If you're joining me for the first time, welcome. I am building the Tamiya TA03R-S Porsche 911 GT1 Street Kit. This is a 1/10 scale RC car model, and I just started. I just unboxed it maybe an hour ago, and I just started building. I'm only on step 7. So welcome to the stream. Okay, so probably before I did that, I should probably put that ball stud on before anything else. Let's see. Frames. 46 minutes. Cool. My computer crashed earlier, and a lot of people didn't come back after it crashed, which is a shame. So I'm glad you found me and you're watching right now. So going to put a little grease here, and then make sure that bearing goes in as far as it can. Okay, I'm just pressing it in with my fingers, my thumb. And this will rest inside like that. And this you need to also push all the way in. Let's see, just yank it. Okay, should look like that. Now we're going to drop the O-ring in, and I have a pair of tweezers to do that. I want you to put some grease on the O-ring, which is always a challenge. So I'm just going to put some in the cup. And make sure it stays flat on the bottom. hard to tell, but it's in there. It's down there. It's flush. Okay. Now we're going to grab this C-hub right here, or upright, or hub carrier, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to put them together like this. This side with the extra screw hole right there is going to be on the same side as the ball stud. So these are the ups, the tops. Okay, so like that. And it's kind of funny they ask you to put that O-ring in there. If you don't work on this right away, it's probably going to fall out. Now there's a diagram on how the O-ring should sit. And I did that. If you're watching the stream, I'm just curious where you're from, where you're watching from. What are you building right now? Would love to hear from you. Get some feedback how the rest of the world does RC. Okay, so let's talk about the RC culture now. I mentioned before that they're the bashers. I think that's probably the largest group, by far, the largest group. And these are the enthusiasts that goes out pretty much all week. Because you can bash anywhere. You can just go outside to your street, or you can go to any patch of dirt or grass. You can run on anything. And, you know, run around for maybe 30 minutes to an hour and until the batteries go out. And then, I think the next group, I actually don't know the sizes of everything. Kind of a subgroup of the bashers. I have to probably get upset about this. I feel like the subset of bashers are the stunt guys. These are the guys that take their trucks to the skate park and, like I mentioned before, and try to launch them over the fence. And I've seen it. Plenty of videos. Or they take it to a dirt track, like a BMX track, and they just fling the car in the air. And which is all fine. It's your car. You have the right to do whatever you want with it. I'm of the opinion that RC cars bring a lot of joy into the world. You know, for kids or even adults any age. But I feel like they should be respected. They shouldn't just be intentionally broken. That's just my opinion. That's just my take on it. But, you know, we live in a free country. If you want to throw your car in the air 40 feet and have it land on its front bumper, that's your truck. Do whatever you want. Okay, so those are the bashers, in my opinion. And then recently, I think the next biggest group, I'm guessing, and they've really grown in the last 5, maybe 7 years. The crawlers, so popular right now. It's quite amazing, and it's great to see. Oops, I think I put this on the wrong side. Yep, I did. So let's take this off. It's great to see. I mean, the crawlers brings in a whole different group of people. These guys are probably a little bit younger. I mean, a little bit older. And they just appreciate crawling and the scale builds. If you look at some of these cars, these crawler trucks, they are beautiful and they're realistic. Sometimes you can't even tell if the camera work was good enough. And I think even the companies that make them, like Traxxas, have really capitalized on that. Traxxas makes some beautiful car bodies. They have, I mean, just the Defender, the TRX4. I mean, that thing is top of the line, really. And I think it's also popular because it's an extension of the off-road scene. You know, there's a lot of off-road activities here, and it's kind of like the weekday versions of going out to the mountains and driving a trail or whatnot. On the weekdays, you can do it miniature style in your backyard. So I think that's why it got so popular so fast. I mean, crawlers are not inexpensive. They're not affordable. Let's put it that way. I mean, you're not just going to walk in a hobby store and willy-nilly buy a crawler like a TRX4. I mean, you're spending almost $500, I think, for a TRX4. It's worth every penny. But you're still spending a lot of money. Okay, it's this way. Again, this tab and the ball stud is on the same side. Like that. And the two screws. Did I mess something up? And for those, I didn't see four. Let's see. Set this aside. There are two more here. Yep. Sometimes it helps to just dump everything out. So, hey, shooter, thanks for coming back. My computer crashed and stream broke and I had to come back. I don't think it notified anybody I came back, so the room is empty. Just me and you at the moment. And so those are the crawlers. Again, I'm speculating now. It's like speculating now. I think the next biggest group of RC guys are the racers, off-road racers. It's hard to separate the 1/8 from the 110 scale, but the buggies, the short course trucks, the truggies, you can lump those, 8th scale, 10th scale. You can kind of pretty much lump them all together. And so that's a pretty big group. These are the competitive folks. These are the ones that have sponsored drivers. These are the ones that are semi-celebrities in the RC world. They become well known, like Ryan Mayfield. That's almost a household name in the RC house. Everybody knows who Ryan Mayfield is. So, yeah, so I think the RC racers are, the off-road racers are kind of the next biggest group. And then followed by, I think the on-road racers are quite popular. There's quite a big following of on-road racing here in America. I think there's quite a culture for that as well. Okay, so the next step, we need to tie the hub onto the lower arms, well, both arms, and make sure the dog bone goes in with it. So what I'm going to do first is pin the bottom of the upright to the lower arms so that it's going to pivot and stay in place. And I'll show you what I mean. So the bottom is going to be a pin like this right here. The top is going to be a step screw. So this goes, if I'm correct, this right here is facing us, and the ball stud is facing forward, and it's going to lock in right here. Grab this pin, thread it through the arm, thread it through the upright. All right, so after the on-road, guys, really anybody's guess. This is what I'm doing right now. Let's see. I trust you enough to click your links. Are you oh, you're watching me stream. I thought you were streaming too. Oh, you're putting together your kit. I don't know, isn't it kind of fun? Like you're building a kit and then you're watching someone else building a kit. I think it's a fun thing. I think it's a good hobby for sure. Let me see, let me close this. Like, terrified to open too many windows here. Computers, so sensitive. Yeah, that's cool. Those mini trucks are really cool. Okay, now the last screw is going to take a step screw through here and tie it to that hole right there. So, oh, before we do that, let me just push that through. We need to make sure a dog bone's in there and tied together. Tie the two cups together, the outdrive and the axle. And before we do that, even though we already have some grease in there, I'm just going to squeeze a little bit more on both cups. Believe me, it's a lot neater than trying to grease those two. And need to turn it so it fits into that slot. And then I'll turn the axle to align it. There we go. So you gotta be really careful when we do this and make sure the dog bone stays in place before I tighten the screw. I don't know what kind of progress you've made, shooter. So how far have you gotten with that kit? Are you repairing? I think you're repairing, right? How far along are you with building that kit? I just started today. I just started maybe a couple hours ago. So I've only gotten to step 8, and I think after this is going to be the last step for today. I unboxed it and I started the build. I try not to stream too long a day. It's kind of stressing on my eyes, especially it's almost midnight. So yeah. All right, now let's do this side. Same thing. I'm going to pin the bottom first. Hey, if you're just started tonight, cool. Well, it looks like you made a lot of progress for starting tonight, man. That's awesome. If you're new to my stream, welcome. Feel free to click that follow button, and so you don't miss a video of mine. I would really appreciate it. It kind of helps me spread the word about the stream and help me find more viewers, which is always the goal of any streamer or content creator. Find more people to watch you do stuff. Right, again, I'm going, whoa, geez, okay. I did a little, overdid it a little bit with that cup right there. Funny. I don't think you guys saw the velocity that grease squeezed out of the cup. All right. Yeah, like I was saying, let's see, something is not all the way in. I think something is stuck. Huh. It's the axle for sure, but I don't think. Okay, I still had quite a bit to go. There we go. Yeah, if you're watching, besides Shooter, tell me if you're building a kit or, what RC cars do you have? You just curious about RC, or you just want something to play in the background? That happens to me a lot. I appreciate it. Appreciate you watching my stream. Let's see. I haven't figured out how to do the notifications yet. So if you followed or subscribed, thank you for doing so. Let's see. Let me pause for a second here. I have this strange feeling. I don't think this is the wrong screw, but it's sticking out quite a bit. Yeah, that's kind of strange. Usually it doesn't stick out that much. I don't know if you can see, but that end of that screw is sticking out quite a bit. And MA4, we used another step screw before. And that's MA4. So that's it. They were all the same. All right, so that is it. Okay, so that's the entire front end, and I think I've streamed, even though it only says 1 hour and 5 minutes, I think in total I have streamed for about 2 hours, and it's going to turn midnight very soon. So I'm going to stop building right here for tonight. If you guys have any questions or anything you guys want to talk about, I will hang around until we get you an answer. So a rough estimate right now how long it'll take me to finish this kit. I'm going to say at least 5 streams. So I only stream 4 days a week unless like a Sunday special. This Sunday I won't be able to stream during the day. Maybe I will. Depends if I have to work or not. So this kit is definitely going to roll into early next week, which is fine. And then somewhere down the line, probably on the weekend or maybe even take a break next week, after I finish the chassis, I need to go and paint everything. I'm already behind. I already have the TT02 Subaru, and I just finished the holiday buggy last night that I need to paint quite a few parts on. And so I need to accomplish that before I start the kit after this one. The reason I started this one is because I have nothing else to do for the holiday buggy. Technically, I finished it because I assembled everything. I assembled parts that were not painted correctly. So, I need to catch up, finish the kits that I have. Actually, I have a M06 Lotus Europa from a while back that I need to finish as well. And I think this is a symptom of my ADHD. I think you can see the tag there. In my stream, it says ADHD English. Building these kits really helps me. I can sit here and I just did. I just sat here and built this kit for 2 hours straight. If it's not midnight and I wasn't streaming, I can probably keep going and finish maybe half of this kit, if not more. It really helps me with concentration. It really helps me kind of, it's almost like meditation. It's kind of hard to describe. I'm always in the zone when I'm building these things. So it really, really helps me in that regard. So I really like RC kits. But at the same time, once I get close to finishing a kit, and this is my point, once I get close to finishing a kit, I start losing interest, especially parts where I'm not the best at. I kind of dread doing certain things. And for RC car kits, it's the painting, the body painting. I really, really, I'm not good at it. I can pull it off, but I don't enjoy it nearly as much as I enjoy building the cars. So that's why I have so many unfinished cars. I get to the body and I either sent it out to a painter, or recently I started painting all of my own bodies. It just becomes that hurdle. You know, even as easy as the WRX, it's a single color, metallic blue all the way across. I had to make it a little bit difficult for myself by masking the headlights and the taillights, because I want, even though there's headlight decals, I'm thinking someday I may want to install real headlights, like LED lights, light kit on the car. And I wanted to have those lenses unpainted. So, and that became an obstacle for almost a week now. Just a mental obstacle that I thought it was going to be so difficult. I finally did it today, and it came out okay. I masked the front and tail lights. I just need to clean the excess. I use liquid mask. And there's some overage here and there that I need to clean out. And it's very important I clean it out, otherwise the paint's going to look weird. So I have that. Today was a little bit weird. I'm in Southern California, and there was a thunderstorm middle of the day. And I was afraid to go outside and paint. I was afraid if I lay down a coat and it starts raining, it's going to ruin the whole thing. There's no doubt that it will ruin it. So I kind of avoided it. So after I masked everything, and I sanded all the surface parts of the holiday buggy, because that's plastic, that's not polycarbonate. And again, I just couldn't find it in me to want to paint them. It took a long time to sand them to begin with, even though there's not that many parts. I could have just done the primer, but I just could not get myself to go outside. So my point coming back, all of this is that ADHD is a serious thing. It does affect people. I know sometimes even I joke about having ADHD, but it really can be detrimental to an adult, especially a child. I mean, it technically is a disability, I believe. I don't call myself disabled because I have ADHD. I am capable of many things. Sitting down and doing one thing is not always one of those things. Has to be something I'm really interested in. for me to sit down for 2 hours and do. So that's why I want to promote, kind of talk about, bring awareness to ADHD and how serious it is, how affects different people. And if you're diagnosed yourself, I would love to hear or learn about what your lifestyle is like, how you cope with it, and if there's anything like me, I can do this for 2 hours. If there's any other activities that you do that you're able to sit down several hours at a time for. I'm glad I have this hobby. I'm glad it gives me a lot of joy and a lot of peace when I'm here just working on the kids. So I'm going to call the build today right here, and I'm going to end the stream. But before I do that, I want to show you what we're going to do tomorrow. I'm going to estimate how far we're going to get tomorrow. I'm going to start at 10 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to start at step 9 with bag B. And we're going to start building the back end, which is, so that's one giant skid plate and the arms. Start building, this is going to be that outer gear, I think it's called a counter gear. Let's see, yep, rear counter gear. And then the spur gear, the rear damper stay or the shock tower, the rear uprights, rear axles, same as what we just did today. So everything up to here is pretty much what we did for the front. We're going to do to rear. Additionally, we're going to mount the motor. So that's obviously one thing the rear has that the front doesn't. So the motor is going in tomorrow. And I think that's probably as far as I'm going to get. Let's see, page 9, page 10. Yeah, so page 10 starts dampers. That's a completely whole different part of the car and a sea bag. So I'm going to be working on step 9 all the way to step 16 tomorrow. I will talk about motors, spur gears, gear ratios when we get to this part. And I'm still kind of disappointed that this car, kind of more or less marketed as a race car, comes with this motor. This pretty much bottom of the line Tamiya motors. The Mabuchi motor RS540SH. It's really hard to see, but it's there, printed there. All of the other cars I built recently are at least torque tune motors. I think the TT02 Drift spec came with a sport tune motor, and there are actually quite a few other brush motors from Tamiya. They're quite expensive, a lot more expensive than other brush motors you can buy, because they're Tamiya motors. They're just expensive. Nothing you can do about it. I think it's because they don't make that many. I have no idea. They're usually not sold here, so anybody brings some over, imports them over from Japan, is going to charge a premium, and somebody will buy it. Some people like me. So we'll look at that. We'll look at different motors that I have, and I'll try to do research to see which, in terms of what turn the motors are, and what is good for what. I'll try to do some research on the 3. This being the tin can, the torque tune, and the sport tune motor. I'll try to talk about that tomorrow and see what we learned. I'll also talk a little bit about gear ratio to fill some time tomorrow. So we're starting out with a 14 tooth pinion, and the gear ratio is 8.51 to 1. And if we used the 25, oh, I just sold it. I just sold the 25 that I had. Oh, that's a shame. I didn't think I was going to use it because the TTO2 goes, I need a 28 for the TTO2. I didn't think I was going to use it, but I had a 25, either 24 or 25. You can get it down to almost half of, no, not quite, like 40% of the pinion gear, that the gear ratio on the 14 tooth pinion gear with a 25. So we can really kind of jack up the speed on this car with just a simple pinion gear change. But it opens up a whole other can of worms about overheating and gear fatigue and wear. It opens another giant can of worms about all of that. So you can't just willy-nilly change the pinion gear to something with so many more teeth and lower that pinion gear. When I changed the pinion gear on the TTO02RR, I had to change the gear set, the motor mount, the propeller shaft, the propeller joints. I actually changed the spur gear and got an even smaller one to 64 tooth, I believe. I changed to aluminum wheel hexes, and I put in universals, which were the most expensive part of all of things I just mentioned. And it ran fine. I mean, it handled it. It was a brushless. I converted to brushless. So it was quite a decent car. But it does take, and I got it. I think I got the TTO2 down to like 6 point something gear ratio. Final. This is just the gear ratio, but the final drive ratio is a little bit different depending on the tires and the gears and everything. So yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll figure out. I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to finish all the way up to 16. I'm positive. And then we'll go from there. This is really technical. It's totally different from something I've built before, so I'm really enjoying this. It's brand new. It's kind of like something I've never done before, so I'm excited about this. And it is a beautiful car. Oh, I think it crashed again. So anyway, if you're still there, I'm gonna end the stream right here. So good night, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. End stream from here. I'm just gonna close this and see